You will now be placed into the conference. You are now muted. This conference is now being recorded.
Welcome to the ACEC New York webinar, Preparing to Win. Your speaker for today's program is Erich Arcement, a Senior Vice President with Sam Schwartz Engineering. Audiocast quality is subject to your equipment, available bandwidth, and internet traffic. If you experience unsatisfactory audio quality, please use the telephone dial-in option provided in your confirmation and reminder emails. If you have dialed in, operator assistance is available by pressing #. You can send questions at any time by using the chat window located to the lower left of the presentation screen. A question and answer session will follow the presentation. I will now turn the call over to Erich. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Erich Arcement, Chair of the ACEC New York Engineering Excellence Awards Committee. Today I'll familiarize you, or update you if you've done this already, on the process of submitting your final entry to the Engineering Excellence Awards for 2017. And as was just stated at the end, we will be happy to answer any questions. So feel free to type your questions into the little chat bar there, and we'll save them until the end. We'll go through all the questions and answers. Just as a reminder, this year is our actual 50th anniversary of doing this. I've actually been involved in it for, I think, 5 or 6 years now, but this is our 50th. So we've got our biggest interest as of yet. We have 150 entries, and I'll go through that in a bit, but that's our highest ever. And we're expecting some really good publicity around this. This should be a really good event for all of our firms that are involved in it. So let me get started. Our agenda. I'll touch on all the aspects of the program, so that's including the preliminary entries, judging, the role of the moderators, and that's really actually crucial in understanding how you should write your entry, because the moderators are the ones who present your project to the judges, and so it's really crucial that what you write gives a clear picture of your project to the moderators. I'll also take you step by step through the final entry materials. I'll also go over the level of awards, how winners are notified, the actual Gala where the awards are given, inviting public clients, and public relations. So, as I just stated, we had 150 preliminary entries, so that's a record for our program, which is great. The staff has processed them into a database, and everybody should have received instructions on how to submit your final entry materials already. This includes a final checklist form and an FAQ. These documents, if for some reason you haven't gotten them, the documents are also available to download on the Engineering Excellence page of the ACEC New York website. And of course, you can reach out to ACEC New York staff if you have any issues or for some reason can't find the materials. The final entries are due on September 21st, and they will be accepted a week later up till September 28th, but there'll be a $100 late fee if they're not in by September 21st, with September 28th and that late fee being the absolute drop dead for entries. So judging. The judging for the event is scheduled for October 26th in New York City. There's a number of judges that are included. They're invited by ACEC New York, and they are military and government officials, ACEC national and international leadership, educators from colleges and universities and engineering departments, representatives from relevant press, and leadership from other organizations dedicated to the built environment. I'm going to get into what you're submitting in a bit, but the judges will receive the executive summary that you submit, as well as the images you submit of the products before the judging of the event. So they'll actually be able to review that. And to be honest, some judges will review it, other judges won't, but they will be getting that information. They don't get the full, larger 1,500-word write-up that you send, but they get the executive summary and the images. And after they listen to the moderator present the project, the judges are asked to give a numerical score of 1 to 10 based on the criteria that you see on your screen here. And so, I'd mentioned earlier, it's really crucial how you write up your information that you provide for the moderators. And you can see here the 5 different criteria that we have. The original or innovative application of new or existing techniques, future value to the engineering profession and perception by the public, social, economic, and sustainable design considerations, complexity, and exceeding client and owner needs. And so each one is equally weighted. And so when you do your write-up, it's critical that all of these aspects are part of your write-up, and then you make it clear for the people for the moderators who are presenting your project, how all of these criteria are incorporated into your project. The judges are asked to base their score on the criteria, as I just said, and the merits of the projects. They don't compare the projects to one another. They're just judging each project individually. So the moderator is a professional engineer who volunteers their time to present the project to the panel of judges. Moderators are asked what category they want to present, so usually the moderators are people who have an understanding of the categories that they're presenting. The moderators receive all of the written and visual information prior to judging, and as I said, that's why we stress that the materials you submit are clear and address the judging criteria point by point. If your explanations are unclear, moderators won't be able to present your project properly. Moderators generally present 4 to 6 projects to review and present. So the kind of summary here, and I think I get into this a little bit more later, but the summary here is when you do your write-up, the way we do our write-ups, because I've done this a number of times and I've moderated a number of times, is to clearly call out each of those individual judging criteria so that the moderator, who's basically reading the information you provide to them and then they're presenting your project, they're your project advocate, has all the information so they can easily discuss with the judge or present to the judges what it is about your project that meets all of those criteria. So it's really important to clearly put that in there. If you just kind of give generalizations about your project but don't hit on those criteria, the moderator is not allowed to add anything but what they know. So they can't give their own opinion. If they happen to know about your project just from seeing it in the news or whatever other, just being in the industry, they're not allowed to provide their own input. They can only provide what you provide to them. So it's very clear that you give them a very clear write-up that hits on those points. Each room is staffed also with a room captain. The room captain is also volunteers in charge of the room, including keeping the moderators to time, collecting the score sheets, and managing the room. Room captains are supplied with project information. They can assist in answering questions for the moderator or judges. The Engineering Excellence Committee usually volunteers to be moderators and or room captains, but these roles are open to any member. So if you're interested in being a moderator, or if you think someone at your firm would be interested in being a moderator, you can contact ACEC New York. You can contact ACEC New York, and they will they'll be able to sign you up if you're interested. So it's a great way to learn about judging, the judging process, and it's also a great way if you're interested in also working on some presentation skills. With such a large volume of projects, this year we're actually going to have to do additional rooms for judging. So we're actually in a greater need for moderators and room captains than we've been in the past. So again, if you're interested in doing that, please reach out to ACEC New York. You can call or email them. So getting into the actual final submission entries. So all entries must be submitted electronically, and that's either through the online file share site, wetransfer.com, or by mailing CDs or DVDs or flash drives containing your files directly to ACEC New York's main office. It's required that 2 discs or folders be submitted. So one is with the full project and one is just a copy of the photographic panel. This assists ACEC New York in the process as they prepare the entries for judging. And so while it might not seem like it makes sense to provide these 2 separately, it's just important for how the process goes. Both discs or file folders must be labeled with the firm name, the project name, and the category. WeTransfer.com file folders should be zipped. Detailed instructions on how to create, zip, and upload your projects to WeTransfer.com have been mailed to all the firms that submitted preliminary entries, and the instructions are also available for download from the EEA page of the website. So again, you should have gotten everything already. If you don't have it, you should be able to get it on the website, and again, if you have any issues, you can reach out to ACEC New York staff. Remember to include your payment if you're mailing your discs. If you're uploading your files, then you just send a check separately to ACEC New York's office. If your firm has multiple entries, you can just submit one check versus submitting a bunch of separate checks for each one. ACEC New York can't accept credit cards, unfortunately, for this specific payment, so it has to be by check. The final entry fee of is $375 per project for members and $525 per project for non-members. Payment before the submission deadline is encouraged but not required. However, keep in mind that projects with unpaid fees will not be considered for judging, so do make sure that you get your fee in a timely manner. So now we'll go through the contents, and I've hit on some of that already. And remember, the first disk or file should include all items that we're listing, while your second disk or file should include only the panel. The first required item is the final entry form checklist. So you should wait to fill out this form until you've gathered all of your materials, just to make sure that you don't leave anything out, because if you have an incomplete entry, then it can't be judged. All aspects of this have to be in order for them to be judged. The project name written on the form that you provide is the official name of the project, so that's how it'll appear in everything that's all the marketing material and everything that happens around the event. So make sure that the project name as you want it to appear is written on the forms. The category should be the same category you indicated on the preliminary entry form. If the firm decides to change categories, then you need to contact ACEC New York directly so that they'll know that you've changed your category. And no category changes can happen after the final entry is received. So after that September 21st deadline, you can't change your category. But if you do change the category when you send in your final entry, just make sure that you reach out to ACEC New York directly. All projects must be accompanied by an endorsement release letter from your client on your client letterhead. And this often takes a long time to secure, especially if it's a public agency. They often need to go through a lot of different channels to get the sign-offs. So we strongly encourage you to start working on getting those sign-offs now. ACEC New York can't advance anything to judging if there's not a letter from your client that gives permission for this to be part of the awards. So make sure that you work on that right now. The letter has to be on client letterhead and submitted as an electronic copy. A sample letter of what it should say is in the final entry instructions, and it's a really short, brief letter. It doesn't need to get into anything extensive. It just needs to be clear that your client is allowing you to enter the project. Many times the letters are sent directly to ACEC New York's office, so if that happens, then ACEC will reach out to you and just let you know that they got the letter so that you know that it's been taken care of. So the final entry contents, the project description, the 1,500-word description. So this project description can be technical in nature as it is reviewed by an engineer to communicate the unique qualities of the project to the judges. Entries can include text, graphics, or charts as needed. Make sure the descriptions cover all of the following. So again, these are the judging criteria: the originality, future value to the profession, sustainability, complexity, and exceeding the client needs. And as I said before, and I've actually said it a few times, but I can't stress it enough, make sure that you clearly lay out each of these categories in what you write up, because what you write up in this 1,500 words is what the moderator is going to use to describe the project to the judges, and that's your only place, your only advocate for the project. So if you fail to describe 2 or 3 of these different criteria, then the moderators cannot make up their own things or give what they know about the project. They can only give about the project what's written in your submission. So it's very important that you clearly lay out each one of these aspects, each one of these criteria in your write-up so that the moderator can clearly communicate that to the judges. So there's also an executive summary, and there's another document that's used by the moderator to explain the project to the judges. And as I had said earlier, it's also a document that's going to be sent to the judges in advance, so that should be a little bit more in layman's terms. It's kind of more of a summary without getting into too much detail, but something that is easier to understand. It should point out what is unique about the project and why it is worthy of recognition. And again, I think it should hit all of the criteria. Be sure to highlight the innovations present in the project, elaborating on what was included in the project description, as these highlights will count greatly toward your final score. Other items to highlight include the value of the project to the profession and to the public, sustainable design, complexity, and exceeding the original needs and specs as laid out by the client, which is why budget information is included in the preliminary entry form. The summary should work together with the photos and entry panel, since this is what the judges will see on the screen as the moderator is presenting the project. And so the other thing that you provide is a PowerPoint. The PowerPoint presentation will be used to present each project to the judges. So what's really helpful is if the write-up that you have, that 1,500-word write-up with the different criteria, if it fits well with the PowerPoint that you provide, because that will allow the moderator to basically have an outline of a presentation and then the pictures to go with the presentation, which are those slides. So when you put your award submission together, think about a person who's then going to present this on your behalf and how what you write up in the executive summary, what you write up in the 1,500-word write-up, and what you provide in the PowerPoint, how all of that can be used together to make one cohesive presentation to the judges. It's the best way to look at this, almost as a presentation, sort of like being shortlisted on an RFP, and if you're going to a client to give a presentation, I think that's the best way to look at it. And how do you hit on all the things that your client would want to see? The presentation should have 7 slides, a title slide that includes the name of the project and category, 5 images on separate slides, and a final slide with the panel. Don't forget to include a Word document with captions for the images to be used by the moderator, just so the moderator knows what each image is showing them. No presentation should include any transitions, animations, preset timings, or slideshow sequencing, and that's just to allow the moderator to go at whatever their speed is, and so that they're not working around any of this kind of special stuff. They just have those images to work with. As a reminder, this will be presented for judging, so it's really critical that there's no identifying information on it, no firm logo or name should appear anywhere on the slides. The background should be plain, shouldn't have any kind of template or a firm template, and that's critical because all this is blind judging. We don't let the judges know whose project it is, and that's that there is no bias incorporated into this in case, a judge likes working with a company, for instance. We don't want them to know what company it is. Everything has to be blind judging. Slides should be standard size, not widescreen. Photos should be scaled down appropriately so they fit the slides in the PowerPoint presentation. To reduce the file size, images should be inserted from the PowerPoint menu and not copied and pasted. That keeps a lower file size on the PowerPoint. 5 color photos are used during the judging process to help tell the story of the project. The photos should coincide with the written material. The photos are included in the PowerPoint presentation and can be different from the panel images. A separate Word document, as we said, should be included with the captions of each photo, and the captions and images should be labeled accordingly. Note that the size refers to the photos as their own separate files. Photos should be submitted in the format requested. The size is approximate. Most digital cameras have an output approaching that size. However, we do not recommend that photos be much smaller, as they are used in a number of print and digital marketing pieces, both for the EEA program and for the association as a whole. Some of these might show up on the ACEC website, so they're being used for a number of different reasons, so it's important that they have the right quality. Again, no reference to the firm name should be included on the photo, including logos or any personnel vests or hats and images. So this has happened in the past where someone didn't have a logo on their photo but didn't notice or might have noticed and didn't do anything about it that there's a vest in the background with the name of the firm. So it's important that there's no identifying firm names on any of the materials that you provide. So there's also a panel that you provide. The panel is essentially a presentation poster, which should summarize your project in a professional, eye-catching way. And in a few slides, I'll show you a few examples of some panels that were deemed to be high-quality panels. Details for how to prepare the photographic panel, including types of photos and font size specifications, are included in the instructions. The final panel will be printed in a 30-inch by 30-inch format. The panel design should include a maximum of 6 photos, and that doesn't include if you have an overall background image. That's not included in the 6 photos. Just to stress, as I said before, the firm name should only, in this case, the firm name should only appear in the title box in the bottom right-hand corner, because during the event, the actual gala, all of the posters are displayed, and in the bottom right is the name of the firm. But during the judging, we actually black out that little corner. So the only place that you can have your information is in the corner, and that's obscured during judging. Panel files should be saved as a separate file in the second zip folder on the second disk. The panel should also be included on the final slide of the presentation with the bottom right title block obscured. We also ask that a printed or PDF proof of your panel be included for office use. If you're sending CD-ROMs, include a printed copy. If you're uploading your files, include a PDF. So, just very important that the panel is a way to present your project, and again, it's shown to the judges, and it's also, so it's kind of an overall picture of your project, and it's also displayed during the gala. But going back to what I said earlier, the really critical piece, the panel's important, but the critical piece is to make sure that in everything you write up, that all the information in there is necessary to provide the moderators with the right information to give to the judges, because the panel alone won't sell your project. You need the moderator to be able to have the information they need to clearly provide information to the judges. So just recapping, here's everything that should be included in your final entry. The panel, as a reminder, should be included in the first file and disk, and then also sent in a separate file disk so you can easily print them. Also be sure to include a printed proof if you are mailing disks, or a PDF proof if you are uploading files. ACEC New York is contracted with a vendor to print all the panels and ship them directly to the Hilton for display during the gala, and entrants can take their panels home with them or back to the office that evening after the event if you'd like to. Again, we want to stress that the best entries are those where the photos and panels work with the executive summary and project description and tell a story of the project. For the panel, less text and more pictures is best. Use the text allotment judiciously to tell the story of your project. It's a kind of show, don't tell why your project is award-worthy for the panel standpoint. An award is presented to the firm that submits the best panel. The winner receives a special plaque, and the panel is featured in the Gala program. And so now I'll show you our best panel from 2016. You can see here is a prime example of an award-winning panel. It had minimal use of text, the use of colorful, eye-catching photos that kind of pop out of the page, and it's clean, it's not cluttered, it's a very easy to read panel. So if you have entered your project in the Studies, Research, and Consulting Engineering category, that's Category A, then you also need to submit the supplemental report with your entry. So this should be submitted as a separate file on its own disk or in its own file folder if you're uploading files. So in terms of the awards, every project receives an award. Based on total points, the awards are presented as following in descending order. So there's Diamond Award, which is the highest. And there's Platinum, then Gold, and Silver. So every project will at least receive a Silver Award. The ones that get the highest points from the judges will receive Diamond Award. And then the highest award of the entire night is the Empire Award, and that's awarded to the best project designed and built entirely within New York State. It's evaluated based on contributions to the economic health of an area, sustainability, and creativity. So all of the Diamond Award winners that fit into the Empire Award criteria are entered into the pool of possible Empire Award winners, and the winner is decided by the best overall score. So if you win a Diamond Award and that award is within New York State and fits the Empire Award criteria, then it goes into the final possibility for being an Empire Award. The winner of the Empire Award will be revealed the night of the Engineering Excellence Gala. So if you're a Diamond Award winner, then you'll know. If you're in the running for Empire Award, we'll let you know, but you won't know until the night of if you're an Empire Award winner. All firms in contention of the award will be notified. Notifications of your award level are sent via letter. As part of your entry fee, you'll receive one firm plaque and one client plaque. Diamond Award winners will receive glass awards, which will be given on stage at the gala. Additional plaques and awards can also be ordered. The top-rated projects in each category will be advanced to the national competition. If you're a national finalist, your letter will state as such, and the national entry form will be included with your letter. You should just note that the national submission entry fee are the sole responsibility of the member firm. ACEC New York doesn't cover the national entry fee for finalists. And if you decide not to enter the national level, then ACEC New York just asks that you notify their office so they can let the national level know that you're not going on to national. And I think last year, actually, a number of the New York Diamond Award winners went on to national and won high awards at national. The Gala will be held on April 1st, 2017 at the Midtown Hilton in New York City, and for those who have gone before, In the past, we've always done this at the Waldorf, but the Waldorf is undergoing some renovations, so we can't do it at the Waldorf this year, so we're doing it at the Hilton this year. If you haven't gone to the event before, it's really a great, exciting event. People in formal attire enjoying live music and dancing, and prior to the event, there's a lavish cocktail reception that will take place where the entry panels will be on display. And since this is our 50th anniversary, we're doing some additional stuff this year, so it should really be an exciting year. The Diamond Awards will be presented live on stage, as I had said before, to the entering firm and to the client. Diamond Award recipients are invited to attend an exclusive Empire reception before the main reception. So there's a separate reception for Diamond Award winners before the main reception. The Platinum, Gold, and Silver projects are honored via video. All products entered are also listed in the program journal, and all awards panels are displayed on the screen during dinner. Firms will have the opportunity to have their photos taken with their colleagues, clients, and entry panels in our special photo room. There's a room block currently available at the Hilton for April 1st under ACEC New York with a group rate of $309. So you can call the Hilton directly and mention ACEC New York to get this rate if you're interested. So in terms of inviting clients, ACEC New York encourages you to invite your clients to celebrate with you at the event. It's certainly a great opportunity to sit at a really nice event with your clients and have some client time. However, there are some restrictions specific to public clients. New York State ethics laws allow state and government officials to attend the event as it qualifies as a widely attended event. Each year, ACEC New York submits the events to the ethics department for review. The process is simple. In January, a memo is sent to the firm asking if they want a public client invited. The memo asks for the contact information and whether to invite them with a guest or not. ACEC New York sends a formal invitation to the client on ACEC New York letterhead under the president's signature. The firm is not mentioned in the letter. ACEC New York follows up with each invitation by phone and communicates back to the firm if they accept or not. If they accept, they are seated at your table. Firms are not allowed to pay for the public clients, and the cost is incurred by the association. So because ACEC New York is paying for public client guests to attend, we ask that you use your discretion in how many public guests you invite. Also note that a request for an invitation does not guarantee the person will be seated at your table. Many firms will invite the same individuals, and many of these key industry figures also serve on the Engineering Excellence Honorary Committee and receive invitations anyway, regardless of if a firm will invite them. Decisions on seating are made based on a variety of factors, and ACEC New York has final oversight on all seating arrangements. In the event that different firms invite the same client, we'll work to make sure that the public agency guests are equitably distributed amongst the winners. ACEC New York will only invite New York public clients. Private clients are not subject to the same ethics guidelines as public clients, and firms are able to pay for tickets for their private clients directly. So any private clients that you want to attend, you just directly invite them and pay for them yourselves. Ads in the program journal are a great way to congratulate your design team. Consider taking out an ad in the program that is at everyone's seat the night of the gala. After the gala, the program is sent to every member firm and placed on our website for viewing. Overall sponsorship of the event is available now. Sponsors are highlighted at every level of promotion of the program during the year, including the formal invite, the website, the program journal, email, social media, etc. Over the years, we've made a really big effort to make sure that sponsorship dollars go a long way. So we make sure that those who sponsor this event are promoted heavily throughout the year. Sponsorship also supports the ACEC New York Scholarship Fund, which is one of the most important things, I think. And 2 scholarships are given that evening at the actual gala. But there's a number of other scholarships that are given at a separate event. We're looking to improve even on the great success we had in 2015. So a full sponsorship guide is available on our website detailing the different levels. You can contact any member of the committee, including me or ACEC New York staff with questions on sponsorship. A press release will be issued by ACEC New York the Monday after the gala. This release will contain a full list of all the Diamond Awards as well as links to the Platinum, Gold, and Silver Awards on our website. Member firms can take advantage of the PR and marketing value by issuing their own press releases. Firm press releases can be sent as soon as the winners are notified, but we also recommend that firms share the ACEC New York official press release after the event. Firms are encouraged to send their own press releases anytime after they are notified to their award level. Please refer to the program as the ACEC New York Engineering Excellence Awards program. ACEC has their own, so ACEC as a national has their own Engineering Excellence Awards, which is completely separate, so it's important to clarify that's ACEC New York Engineering Excellence Awards. The Gala will also be live tweeted, and we encourage all participants to join the conversation that evening. Our hashtag is EEA NY50th. Be sure to follow ACEC New York on Twitter to see highlights of the evening as well as program highlights throughout the year. So that wraps up the presentation. Just as a reminder, the webinar is being recorded, so if you need to reference anything I've mentioned today, it'll be uploaded to the ACEC New York YouTube channel, so you can go back and look at it. Also, if you have any questions, you can contact Erica at ACEC New York at 518-452-8611. Her information is there on the screen, or at erica@acecnewyyork.org. So thanks everybody for participating. We're really excited about this, and again, it's our 50th anniversary, so that should add some excitement to it. So with that, I will turn it over to any questions. If anyone has any questions, you'd like to type anything in the chat there, we can answer your questions. I guess it was such a thorough presentation that there are no questions. Okay, so since there are no questions, we'll wrap it up, and I'll just again say that if you have any questions, you can follow up with me, or you can follow up with ACEC New York staff. Wait, we've got a question coming in here. When will we know if our firm has won a Diamond Award? Okay, so the judging is in October, and Erica, if you could just pop in and specifically say when I think it's a couple weeks afterwards we notify, but Erica, if you could just let us know when you think the notifications would be.
Yeah, genuinely, probably about 2 weeks after judging. We'll start sending emails out notifying them of the award level that they won.
Okay, and judging is October 26th, so I guess the answer then would be early November. You'll know not just Diamond Awards, but everybody will know what level you've won. That comes out with letters. And you are welcome, Hannah. Okay, any other questions? Give it another 30 seconds. Okay, so with that, we'll say thanks, and again, you feel free to reach out to any of us if you have questions as you're preparing your awards, and best of luck to everybody. So thank you for joining us.
This concludes today's ACEC New York webinar. Thank you for attending.
The moderator has ended the conference. Goodbye. Thank you for calling.